Hi, everyone. Welcome to New Jersey Wedding Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us today. We are your hosts, Andrea Pertel and Celia Milton, and we're here to help you plan your wedding. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm okay. We're here with Kirsten and Danielle from Beyond the Wildflowers, which is, I don't like to call them a floral preservation company because it really just doesn't do them justice. They do these beautiful creations with your own heirloom crystal and china and those kinds of things, or things that are not heirlooms yet that will be when they add your flowers to them. And I love what they do. We met them at the old mill, and they're so charismatic and so lovely and so creative. And I think I was happy that we met them at a wedding planning show, because I think so many people, you don't think about the idea of preserving your bouquet and the boutonnieres and things like that. You
Till
don't think
you
about
get
it
it.
until they've been in your freezer next to the Ben and Jerry's
What
for
am I
two
going to do
months.
with these beautiful flowers? I want to remember them forever,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then they're artists, Kirsten
yeah.
and Danielle. They're true artists. I love the way they spoke about mixing science and art
Mhm.
and the way of preserving them. And you get this beautiful piece of artwork with your flowers in it to have forever. Or
Yeah,
we
and
talked about giving them as gifts.
as gifts, that's what I thought. When we were talking after we talked to them, it's like, how great would it be for like your moms to have a keepsake of maybe their wristlet or their corsage, maybe the groom's boutonniere and some of the wedding flowers.
Yeah,
I love that idea.
yeah.
And they're so creative and they're so flexible. Um, I People are going to have a great time talking to them.
Right,
They're
right. It's a
definitely,
great interview, and their
yeah,
website is beautiful.
website's
Their
gorgeous.
Instagram is beautiful. You can really
Yeah.
see what they do, and they're just dynamic. They're
Yeah.
and really love what they do.
Mhm.
Yeah, great.
And I think it comes into that category of the things you think of beforehand, like
Mhm.
like the travel point guy and of course bride and groom lawyer. It's like, let's think about these things beforehand. So, you
Yeah.
don't, you go in for a midnight snack and there's still your bouquet.
Yeah, I think
Yikes.
everyone's going to really enjoy this
Yeah, I know we
interview.
will. You're engaged. That is so great. It's such an exciting time and probably a little bit overwhelming too. We'll try to cut through some of that overwhelmed feeling and help you get back to the joy you both felt when one of you asked that singular question and the other person said yes. You want a unique and amazing ceremony, we know that, and we're here to put that together for you. The process is really simple. How refreshing is that? You've created your love story. We're going to write it, and yes, you will see a script before that day. We tell this great story to your guests. They laugh, they cry, and then they party. Easy, right? And I bet it sounds great. A wonderful personal ceremony that feels just like you and lets your guests feel the warmth and joy of the day. We can create that together. Okay, I cannot promise it'll be as much fun as tasting cakes, but we'll try to come close. So let's talk about how to put your wedding together so at the end everybody's had a great time and you're married. So just reach out to us at NJ Vows Now. We're going to make this all easy and fun. I promise. Good morning, everybody. We are so excited to welcome Kirsten and Danielle, who are the creators, masterminds behind a company called Beyond the Wildflowers Floral Preservation Studio. They invite the timeless and unique couple to reimagine their wedding flowers by preserving them in heirloom antiques and vintage glassware and frames and endless food safe resin products. That's a mouthful. Um, their vision their mission is to offer beautiful, functional, eye-catching decor that will absolutely become heirlooms for your family for years to come.
I gotta say, I love this. It's
Their
a
creations
beautiful
are
way to
absolutely
keep
gorgeous.
your bouquet just gorgeous.
Absolutely. And I love the idea too of using flowers from a current wedding to create these timeless things to remember that wedding in a completely different way than than your photos and some of the other things. And I do love the idea too of you'll touch upon flowers that maybe have been sitting in somebody's freezer since their wedding. Not that that's ever happened to me, but that you can really preserve them and make them look fantastic and memorable. So, take it away.
Well, thank you so much for having us on the podcast. We're really excited to be here and
Absolutely.
showcase a little bit about our business. We are a small floral preservation studio, being that it is just myself and Danielle. And I am the founder, and Danielle has been with me for about a year now. So I'm super lucky to have her. And we both specialize in preserving wedding flowers as well as attending various juried art markets to showcase and sell our pressed flower wares. What makes us stand out from other floral preservation studios is that although we do resin items and frames, we specialize in using vintage and antique glassware. And that's something that we both enjoy. So that was something that when Danielle and I got together, we one of the first times that we hung out, we actually went antiquing, and it was something that we both were like, "Whoa, we both love this."
The perfect match.
We have an idea here. Excellent.
Yes. So it was a really great fit.
And so I started Beyond the Wildflowers. I've been an artist and a traveling vendor for 10 years. So I started the floral preservation about four or 5 years ago, and I had only been doing like family and friends wedding flowers. It wasn't something that I was offering. I was selling pressed flower artwork. And then I had this will actually lead us into our first story. I had this one client, I'll just say her first name. It was Katie. And she met me at Manayunk Street Fair, which is a juried art show in Manayunk in Philly. And it was summertime. It was July. It was hot. I just remember all of it. And she had come up to me and she said, "Hey, do you do floral preservation for weddings? I'm getting married and I'm looking." And I said, "Sure." At this point, like I said, I had only done a handful of them. And she took a chance on me. And I was over the moon because she had placed such a large order, and I never had somebody really invest in my art to that extent. So I was super excited, and I knew what I was doing at that point. So I felt comfortable to take on something this large. And the art of flower pressing has been something I was experimenting with since I was a child. And, a quick tangent. I grew up on a farm, so growing flowers and having a green thumb and working with nature in my art has always been, it's kind of like a full circle moment. So combining all of this together, Katie took a chance on me, and I preserved her wedding flowers. And then a couple months later, she got them back, and completely over the moon, she went ahead and shared Beyond the Wildflowers on a New Jersey, New York, and Philly bridal group on Facebook. And I went in 2023 from having 7 clients to 2024 taking on 65 weddings.
Oh, wow,
brilliant.
that's fantastic.
Good. That's wonderful.
So Katie, that one woman, thank you. Katie, if you're listening, thank you, because you changed the trajectory of my entire business.
Wow, that's great. That's fantastic. But it's so, what you do is so unique. And, there are other companies that, preserve bouquets and press them, and, that's fine. But what you do is just so distinctive in that, having that extra little piece of incorporating heirloom and antique glassware, I think is really just fascinating.
So you could take a family, grandma's, great grandma's antique glass bowl, and you can have your bouquet saved in that.
Yeah. On our website, actually, one of our little quotes is, these might not be your grandmother's flowers, but they are her dishes. So we really love that. And we have a lot of people bring us their own glassware, and then it can be this new and unique way to update an already special family heirloom. So it's just like a really awesome continuation of something that isn't used as much anymore in serving and hosting, but it brings new life and a continued history and, loving of something so cool and historical and special.
I love it. Generations too,
Absolutely.
that's really beautiful. What an heirloom,
Oh, cool. Now, how does the process work? Let's say, I'm getting married and I've seen your beautiful things and it's like I really want to do that. What happens next? How does this work with you?
So we typically recommend to our couples that are looking for flower preservation to book 3 to 6 months before their event date, even
That's
though
good
we
to know.
are the last thing that takes place for the wedding. You want to have this service booked because we want to
Mhm.
know what flowers we're working with, how you're going to get them to us, whether you're shipping them, we're meeting you guys halfway, or you're coming to the studio. Even though I don't have a public like shop yet, I have a private studio that people can come drop off the bouquets. So we do recommend booking, and then this way we lay out their invoice, what pieces of art and glassware or frames they're looking to have done, and any other resin items, and then we'll give them their invoice and their quote. We do complimentary consultation calls. Our clients can meet with us at any point over the duration of working with us. So they'll have the wedding, and then we need the flowers up to 1 week afterwards. So we do recommend
Okay.
that our clients keep them in the refrigerator in a vase of water until they're ready to bring them to us. And then upon getting the flowers, Danielle and I will what we call process them. So we
Mhm.
strip the bouquet, we take off the ribbon, any pins, any like pieces of wedding dress, shirts, because we have a lot of clients that will add mom and dad's um, wedding items in their bouquets.
Oh,
So
nice. Nice.
we'll take those off. We process the flowers. We strip off any thorns, leaves, if the florist had not done that prior, and then we basically take apart all the flowers petal by petal. And that's the most tedious process of floral preservation. We really try to highlight that in our consultation calls, that it goes beyond just pressing flowers. It's a whole process and it takes a lot of patience. So we basically press everything petal by petal. It's placed into a flower press for 1 to 2 weeks. And then once they're removed, we do let our clients know that fading and color alteration does occur. Completely normal. We're working with Mother Nature's accessories here.
Sure.
Um, and then everything gets put into a silica sand, which is a moisture removing agent gel, and it'll sit in there for like up to 2 to 3 months to fully dry out the flowers.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So, okay. All
So
right.
the full turnaround time per client is about 8 months. So they do sign an 8 month contract with us.
Wow. That's
Wow,
interesting
I
to
think that's
know.
pretty cool though. Like 8 months and suddenly they get their finished product. And you don't have to have an heirloom piece. You don't have to have your own piece of antique glass. You can choose to um you have different items you can make for them in resin, right? A bowl or a frame of some kind, put them in.
So we seal the flowers if they want glassware in a cake stand or a jewelry tray or a bowl, that the resin gets poured into those pieces. We, as far as resin items only, we offer bookends that are made
Oh,
fully out of resin, and coasters and ornaments.
all right. Beautiful.
I could see
Yeah,
that as
other than that,
really, I could see that as being really like sweet presents too for the, parents maybe.
Yeah,
yeah,
ornament.
typically the ornaments are giftable goods, which is nice.
Yeah, I like that. What's your most popular item?
The cake stand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
That
saw a
brings
picture of that on your
Cake stand is
website.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'll tell our listeners that we will have a link to your website as well as your Instagram page so that they can look at your beautiful uh, products there. It's Beyond the Wildflowers. So,
Yep. So another part of the process that we offer after those flowers come out of the sand, this doesn't include like the time to design. We have to send our mock-up designs out. Nothing is done without the client's approval. So they work with us throughout the process, which is really nice. It's fun, it's engaging. It allows them to kind of have some creative freedom as we are working on their pieces. So we do let them know that they have the option to completely keep their flowers natural and that they do look
Mhm.
different pressed versus fresh.
mhm.
But we do offer a really unique service, which is color correction, which I'm going to have Danielle explain.
Yeah, so color correction, I think, is probably one of the more unique things that make us stand out as well, in conjunction with the glassware. But color correction, we really have a heart for it because if you have a bouquet that you really love, you get to make it look exactly like it did on the day that you were, holding it. So the color
Wow.
correction really keeps the flowers alive in a way that, is just really, really neat. So we basically recolor everything. We use a special like pastel chalk for flowers. And Kirsten always likes to say it's like makeup. It's like eyeshadow for your flowers. So
Wow.
we brush everything on, and we send that over to the clients. But it's just really neat. Like the natural preservation of flowers is beautiful in and of itself, but having the option to color correct just makes it even more timeless. It doesn't fade over time. It doesn't get more brown. It doesn't shrink more. It's, when we save in resin, it keeps its natural color without the color correction. But when you're putting it in a frame and stuff, it's just another level of, preserving it as it was.
Great.
So we really, really pride ourselves on being able to offer that.
Again, it's completely optional because we do like to highlight that nature is, it's completely natural and flowers will fade and brown. But we also understand that if you're paying top dollar for a service and an art-based service, we have art backgrounds. So we certainly can offer, we're playing with color theory, we're playing with depth, dimension, we're bringing new life, we're basically breathing new life back into these flowers to make them look as close as possible to the ones you had on your wedding day.
Yeah. I see also that you guys offer gift certificates, which I
What a
think
great idea.
yeah, I think that's great.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of people, family members of the bride and groom, they'll want to pay a part of the preservation or gift it to them during like the bridal shower and things like that.
That sounds like a great idea. Especially for the shower. What a terrific idea. I love it. I love it. And it's just the thing that they're so pretty. I looked at I got to meet you at the old mill show, and you had a lot of the things that you make your creations there, and it's just such a different way of dealing with that, dealing with the flowers and the memories, and I just love it. I think it's great. Do you also do you find people use this service for things like proposals or Valentine's Day or things like that?
We've had people do like for anniversaries and stuff. So when we're pressing personal flowers, like it's totally custom to them. We do sell like our own wares with our own pressed flowers for people to purchase. We just had a Valentine's Day pop up at the Easton Public Market, so we had people buying some little gifts for loved ones. But this kind of leads us into one of the other things we do is restoration. So one of the biggest things that we like to offer is restoring a bouquet, whether it's recreating it from pictures or restoring flowers that have been dried up to 30 years. It really is a cool like anniversary style gift, and you can make something really, really special with that. But yeah, I'll let Kirsten talk a little bit more about the restoration part.
We've had a lot of clients come through to us hearing about restoration because they're like, oh, when we got married, floral preservation wasn't a thing, or oh, it just came up too fast and I didn't have time, and now my flowers are sitting in my closet, and they're just dry, or they're in a plastic bag. And restoration is it's a mix of science and art. And I kind of messed around with dried flowers because people make, like rose water or other apothecary items or potpourri and things like that. And I said to myself, well, flowers are a natural material, which means that if they're dry, they can also get wet again and become pliable. Okay. So for restoration, I actually had a client, she reached out to me last year, and she had her 3-year-old dried bouquet that had been sitting in her parents' garage refrigerator. And it was completely dry, color was intact. And she said, can you restore this for me and press these flowers? And I said, yes. So what that process looks like is their whole bouquet actually gets boiled down on a low boil. The hot water will expand the petals again, and it makes the flowers pliable. So it gets boiled down. And then I take apart, again, everything petal by petal. I check for mold because sometimes with the dry flowers, there could be mold inside. So I remove that. And everything gets put in a press again and then dried out again. So very similar steps to like if they were fresh, but the biggest thing is they got to be boiled first so that we can make them flat versus being dried whole. and then I, color correct them. And so this client ended up ordering a frame and a bunch of bowls and dishes and ornaments. And she was over the moon with the result. And she said, I didn't even understand how this was possible. And that's the beauty of combining science and art.
I was just going to say that it really is science and art there, because I would be scared to death that I would be ruining it. And flowers are so fragile anyhow, but it's just beautiful. The beautiful pieces of art.
Thank you.
Well, I think the notion of, pre-planning this, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, having dragged my bouquet all over the place, and then what do you do with it? And you don't have any plans for it. It's like, well, let's just put it over there for a while. And it's like, all of a sudden, it's an antique.
Yes, yes.
But I love the idea of a gift, of giving somebody.
Yeah, we love being able to offer that for so many different people, and it's just really a blessing to work with each of the clients and learn a little bit more about their love stories and what their personalities are like through their flowers and their choices. So it's a really cool way to just interact with people and bring them a little slice of unique joy.
It's really fun. And I know you were busy, because we when we first met, I tried to get you on the podcast and you were like crazy. You were like all over the place. And so I'm glad that that's really working out for you guys. I really am.
Yeah, we really were. When we met you originally, we were like, oh, this is such a great opportunity. And we were so excited, and we're like, wait, we're not ready.
We're in the thick of it.
Yeah,
here.
it was crazy for us. And like, this was also after 10 years of, artistry and vending solo. This was my first time having somebody else enter the business. So the last year we've been like working out a schedule and what works. And like, thankfully we have built such a beautiful friendship as well. And we work so well together. I mean, I wouldn't trade her for anything. I'm so lucky to have Danielle as part of my business.
What a wonderful story.
It's
right?
great. It's great. So what's next for you guys? What's the next frontier?
The Philadelphia Flower Show. That's coming up.
Oh, wow.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be showcasing our wares and pressed flower art and floral preservation services from March 1st through the 9th.
Wow. That sounds great. That sounds like so much fun. Well, good luck with that. I'm sure people are going to love to discover you there. Excellent.
Yeah, it's our 3rd year there, so we're super excited.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Oh, wow. It was so much fun having you.
Thank you so much. It's been a joy talking to you both, and we're really excited to be a part of this podcast.
Yeah. We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. And I'm going to tell the listeners again that we will have the link to their website, and you can look at all the beautiful works of art that they do. And you can also get in touch easily with them through the website. And we will also have a link to their Instagram. So again, you can look through and see all the amazing pieces of artwork that they do. And thank you so much for joining us beyond the Wildflowers. This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.